is up? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Back with some more Alan Wake 2 gameplay for you. And today I'm making a follow-up video to my latest one, which I'll be the first one to admit I did not see all the comments that I got coming out of that video. And not implying that they were bad or terrible, but I just did not see that happening. If you want to update of what I mean by that, I made a video talking about why I feel like there's elements from Alan Wake 2 that I feel like future Resident Evil games could learn and maybe look to implement in future games. But unfortunately, that was apparently the ultimate sin to commit because, oh my god, you guys came out of the woodworks for me, basically suggesting that that is the ultimate form of blasphemy. But what I was really shocked to hear was that a lot of people really did not like Alan Wake 2. A lot of people thought the game... It's not that they didn't think the game was as good as people were making out to be. They thought the game was just absolute garbage and trash. And I was really astounded by that because, you know, I've seen the reviews are pretty positive. A lot of people that have played the game really enjoyed it. But, and once again, and I get it, you know, some things just don't work for other people. That's perfectly fine. But I was just really surprised by that. And I've heard a lot of just comments and... But the thing that really, I guess, annoys me, and I thought that I would make this video talking about another specific topic, which is basically the same thing, but unfortunately, this beat me to the punch. But I was eventually going to make a video talking about why the whole Chris fans, you know, Chris Redfield fans versus Leon S. Kennedy fans, that whole debate annoys the hell out of me. Just because you always have two sides or constantly crapping on each other to prove why their specific character is better. I think the greatest example of this is the whole Batman-Superman example, because I think we all can relate and understand that. It seems like if you're a Batman fan, you have to crap on Superman, and if you're a Superman fan, you have to crap on Batman. You just can't, oh, God forbid, like them both, which I do. Like, Batman's my all-time favorite fictional character, but never once have I ever looked at Superman like, well, that's a competition. That's a key word, competition. Oh, that's the competition. That's the character that's always competing with who's the face of DC, who's more powerful. It's like, I don't look at it like that. I look at it as two excellent, great characters with great stories, great cast of entourage around them, great villains, and two characters who, while I like seeing them in their own events, I also like seeing them team up and actually work together instead of constantly fighting. It seems like their fans want them to fight each other more than actually, you know, do what superheroes do, work together. But that's a whole different discussion for a whole nother day. But you get the point of what I'm ultimately trying to say here. But, you know, this whole situation with this game kind of beat me to doing it, so I guess I'll do it with this one, the whole Alan Wake 2 versus Resident Evil 4 Remake discussion. And once again, I didn't make this video because I'm necessarily going to discuss which one I think is better, because that's the point. I personally don't care. That's one thing you'll never see on my videos. You'll never see me do videos talking about why I think this game is better than that game, or this character versus this character, because once again, it's all subjective. We're all different. We all have different tastes. We have different, you know, things that resonate with us, and, you know, it is what it is. Like, me telling you which one I personally think is better is not necessarily going to click and resonate with you. And once again, the things that I look for are very different from the things you look for. Like, for instance, I'm a pretty big Leon fan, so it's like a favorite Resident Evil character, but I guarantee you the reasons why I like Leon and what I look for in Leon are not what I think the majority of people look for in Leon. I'm very different from very Leon fans. I'm a pretty, what do I say, chill, normal Leon fan. I wouldn't call myself a Leon fanatic. I'm not a fanatic of things, guys. I'm just a normal fan. I don't get defensive when people don't necessarily like the character of Leon, or I don't get over obsessed when people really like the character. I'm just a normal person. I like him. It's not that big of a deal. So getting to this game here, I see a lot of people saying that, you know, hey, Alan Wake 2 is just a shameless ripoff of Resident Evil. It bluntly ripped off everything. There's really no uniqueness, which I don't see how you can look at Alan Wake 2 and say there's no uniqueness in the game and that everything it does, it just rips off Resident Evil. To me, I'm sorry, you have to be, I don't know, maybe really smoking something or really delusional. But what I think that comes from, it comes from that whole possessivism of just being so obsessed with something. Like, once again, guys, I love Resident Evil, but one thing I've learned about being in a Resident Evil community for such a long time is that Resident Evil fans are very, very defensive. Not the normal ones. There are normal ones like yours truly who doesn't take things that serious. I just want to play and enjoy the games. But I'm not looking at like, oh my god, a new survival horror game comes out. Oh my god, it might be, more popular than this franchise I love. I get so defensive. So I basically try to find everything, every chink in the armor to prove to you guys, but in reality, I'm more trying to prove it to myself that, oh, why this game isn't as good as the other game, because that's what it all seemed like to me. It's like all the reasons why people weren't liking the game, and not to say they aren't valid reasons for not liking the game. It's fine. Some people didn't like, being more narrative driven. They wanted more gameplay, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. That's a valid explanation. I can understand that. I get it. Some people didn't like walking around as much as they were in the semi-open world. They call it a walking simulator. I don't agree with that. I think, playing a game like this in the world it's in, you're doing more than just walking. You're kind of feeling and living in this environment, which is a character in its own right. But you know what? That's fine. But the whole thing of, oh, well, it's just a shameless ripoff of Resident Evil. I mean, we've heard this argument so many times, and when are people going to wake up? I mean, I remember when people were saying Resident Evil 7 was a shameless ripoff of Call of Duty. You remember that when Resident Evil 7 first came out? Oh, it was a shameless ripoff of Call of Duty. Why? Because it was in first person and used guns. Like, what sense does that make? Oh, because the inventory system is similar to other... Guys, have you played... You know how many survival horror games I've played? I mean, seriously, you know how many survival horror games I've played? Hundreds, 200s, 300s. Like, you know how many inventory systems are very similar to each other? I mean... Duh. Like, tell me something I didn't know. Like, yeah, they are going to be very similar. Like, seriously, what... I mean, what did you expect? It's an inventory system. You're going to have ones that look very similar. Does that mean that, oh my god, that was their goal, to, like, search up this game and blatantly... It's like, guys, it's an inventory. I don't give a shit about what it looks like. Like, I just care about, hey, being able to interact with it and use the inventory system and use my weapons or... put it across my items. I don't sit there and look at every single solitary detail. But, oh, well, this is similar. Yeah, guys, games and movies have, drew inspiration and looked at each other for the dawn of time. Like, let's stop acting like that this thing basically, its whole existence is pretty much, oh, it's exactly like one game that came before, and that's the whole reason why like, once again, there are similarities, yeah, but I could say that about any video game that's ever existed. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I just play games to try to enjoy them. It's not a competition. It's not sports, people. I feel like people, Alan Wake fans and Resident Evil 4 Remake fans, are fighting each other more than Cowboys-Eagle fans are going to be fighting each other later today. But it's like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, as a survival horror fan, someone who loves the genre, I'm happy that we have games like Resident Evil 4 Remake, Dead Space Remake, and Alan Wake 2. And once again, it's fine if you don't like them, but can we stop? My number one point of making this video, can we stop doing this thing where in order to prop up one thing, we have to crap on another thing? Because it makes me think you didn't really like the thing you were propping up in the first place. It feels like you're more just trying to, diss on the other thing at their expense just to make something else look better. Because if you're doing that, maybe you didn't really like it to begin with that much in the first place. But take it from my mindset, try to put yourself in my brain for a second. When Resident Evil 4 Remake came out, what's one of the first things people did? Oh, is it better than the original one? Did you ever hear me really talk about that? I may have mentioned it, but did you really hear me talk about that? Have I even made a video talking about which one I like better? No. In fact, have you ever seen me make a video talking about, not in terms of like, a competition, but like, which game is better than which? I don't do that. Because that's never a thing for me. I ask myself two questions every time I play a game. Was it worth what I paid for, and was it worth my time? And if I can answer yes to both those things, then that's all that matters. It's not a competition to me. It's like, oh, which game is better? Which one does things? Yes, are there things that Resident Evil 4 Remake can learn from Alan Wake 2? Yes. And are there things that Alan Wake can learn from Resident Evil? Yes. It is a learning process, people. Yeah, thank you, Captain Obvious. I mean, To say that neither one can learn anything from the other is just completely, I don't know, ignorant, just stupid. But you have people say, "Oh, well, it's a complete, perfect, 100% masterpiece, and it did nothing wrong." Guys, Resident Evil 4, the original one, is my all-time favorite video game, and I will tell you right now, there are things that game could have done better. Like, there's no such thing as a 100% perfect game. You can think it is, but there's always things you can do better, because if you can't find things you can do better, how can you ever improve? Like, you always have to be looking to improve to get better. That's how I think a lot of companies kind of fall behind, is because they get to a point where they're satisfied, but once you get satisfied, you get complacent. I say this from the point that I want the games to get even better as we go on in the future. I want, great, fun, interactive games to play. I don't want to sit here and have this whole debate, which basically confines to, hey, this game is better than that game because that game is a pile of crap and it's the worst thing ever, and this game is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Only us as gamers in today's world will see having a bunch of fun, great games to play as a bad thing. And I don't get it. I want to play a bunch of games and have fun playing a bunch of games, but as I said, I don't like these versus things because they always end in the worst of ways, with people just basically screaming and yelling and throwing stuff at each other and just crapping on the other product. But I just like to play and enjoy games. I'm a simple guy with simple taste. But that is my opinion. I want to hear your guys' opinion. Do you guys try to enjoy games for what they are, or you always try to put them in a competition with each other to prove which one is better than the other? Let me know that in the comment section down below. But thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. And hopefully I can see you guys back in the next one. Thanks, and I'll see you all later. Peace.